Hi everyone, my name's Olivia Dunlop. Some of you might know me already, but if not, I am the Wellbeing Advisor for Cornwall Council's Wellbeing team. Aside from that, I'm also a level 2 gym instructor, a level 3 personal trainer, and I personally train 5-6 times a week. Not so much at the moment because of the current restrictions, but still trying to get my daily activity in. So what I thought I'd do is to launch a set of videos, Workout Wednesday, where I will be giving you some ideas of things that you can be doing very easily at home with no equipment or minimal equipment, and just to try and keep you guys moving, because working from home, it's very tempting just to sit on your bum all day. I know my first day back on Monday, I worked from 7:30 till 5:30, and then by the end of the day, I didn't want to do anything. So what I've started doing is doing my physical activity in the morning, get it done for the day, and I feel so much better for the day that I have done it. So today's video, we are going to look specifically at body weight movements. They're going to be things that you can do with no kit whatsoever, in a very small space, whether that's outside like I've been doing or inside, because you know, who knows how long this lovely weather is going to last for. Just a quick disclaimer though around the Workout Wednesday videos is obviously just to bear in mind your own health, so you know your own body. If you've got any injuries, don't do anything that's going to exacerbate it. Don't be doing burpees when you've got no room around you, or you've got kids or cats in the facility. You know, just taking basic health and safety really, because you know, this is just an advice video, and hopefully it will be helpful to most people. It's very basic what we're going to be doing today, and I will also give some suggestions of some scaled versions of movements. So if there is anyone out there that struggles with mobility or injury or anything like that, I can show you some different versions. And you know, if there's something that I haven't covered, or you want an alternative, then just put a message in the comments and I'll try and help you out. So yeah, I hope you look forward to the rest of the video, and I'll catch you at the end. So the first movement we're going to look at is going to be the squat. We squat pretty much every day at home, at work, without even thinking about it. It's a really good exercise to incorporate into a workout routine. So I'm just going to run through the basics. With a squat, you want your feet to be just wider than hip width. It might be a little bit wider for some. Some people just haven't got the mobility to squat when it's really narrow, so you might have to go a little bit wider, but it's just up to your own judgment really. What you want to achieve though is when you bend your knees and you go into your squat, is that your knees are in line with your toes. I don't want to see any of this coming in, knees bending in, or alternatively, people's knees going too far out. They should be in line with your toes. So you can watch them while you're doing it to make sure that they are, and just making sure that you're pushing your knees out if they are bending in. And also another tip is from the side, sometimes it's helpful to look in a mirror for this one, is people sometimes tend to come forward like this, so that their chest almost ends up parallel with the floor. That's what we call a good morning, and it's more of a stretch of your hamstring and your bum. But what you want to be doing instead with a squat is making sure the weight goes into your heels and you're sinking down so that your chest remains upright. That might involve, like I was doing then, putting your arms out to counterbalance you, or alternatively with a little weight as well. That can sometimes help counterbalance you as well. If you do find that you're looking in a mirror and your chest is coming forward like this, really good tip is instead to try and squat facing a wall so that you physically can't come down without smashing yourself in the head. Okay, not that I'm trying to get anyone injured, but it is a very good way to force yourself into making sure you remain upright. Second movement we're going to look at is the lunge. What we want to do with the lunge is to make sure that we're almost pretending that we're trying to lunge on train tracks. So imagine there's two lines running in line with your feet, so that when you lunge, you're trying to stay on that train track. So otherwise what can happen is people lunge inwards, they're almost on a tightrope, and they end up losing their balance, okay? So you want those feet to be about hip width distance apart, and you're lunging on your train tracks. Looking from the side at this lunge movement, you want to make sure you're lunging down and you've got a nice bend in your back knee and also your front knee. So 90-degree bend in both. You can alternate legs, and if you struggle with that movement, you can hold on to a worktop or a chair, and just to help you get into that position and also to keep you upright. Third movement we're going to look at is the push-up. A little bit hard to show you on this camera, but I'll give it a go. So with the push-up, lots of people struggle with push-ups. So obviously there are lots of scaled versions, and there's also ways of making them harder. But with the basic push-up, what we want to look at doing is coming down into that plank position if we can, having our legs extended and our arms locked out, and then all we're doing is lowering to the floor, trying to get our chest to the floor and pushing out of it. What we want to make sure we're doing is squeezing our core and our legs to make sure that we don't go into a wibbly wobbly snake, which you see a lot of people doing when they struggle. So we want to see a nice straight up and down with your back staying in a nice line the whole time, rather than what can sometimes happen is people do this and then they wobble back out of it and all sorts of things are happening. If you struggle with a full body push-up, you can obviously do knee push-ups where you're just on your knees, coming down the same position again, but it just takes a little bit of the weight off and trying to get your chest as low to the floor as possible. You know, if you can't touch your chest to the floor, that's fine. Just try and go as low as you can. Fourth movement we're going to look at is going to be the sit-up. So you might want a mat. So you also might want a mat for the push-ups as well, which I didn't mention. So what you want to do with the sit-up though is coming down onto the floor, and you want to go from obviously a lying down position with your bending your knees. You can either have your arms over your chest, you can have them at your head, and actually to make them easier, you can actually have your arms extended. That makes it a little bit easier. And all we're doing with these sit-ups is crunching our abdominals so that we're curling up into that seated V, okay? If you struggle with that, what you might want to try is putting your feet under a sofa or have someone hold on to your feet, and it makes it a little bit easier to get your body up into that position. If you struggle with those completely and you can't do it at all, then you might want to do a crunch. With a crunch, it's pretty much the same movement, but all we're doing is crunching to here, and then we're just losing that second part of the movement. Just make sure that you're not pulling your head forward like this. You want to be looking at the ceiling the whole time, and you want to feel that squeeze in your abdominals. Another really good bodyweight movement is called a glute bridge. So it's exactly the same position that we were in for the sit-ups. Legs bent at the knees, and all we're going to be doing is squeezing our bums up to the sky and lowering. And you want to make sure that your back is nice and flat on the floor, that your pelvis is tucked under, and you're squeezing your bum up and lowering. Simple as that. Most people can do this movement without any trouble, and you should get a nice burn in your legs and your bums. So in conclusion, we've just run through the squat, the lunge, the push-up, the sit-up, and the glute bridge. 5 really good bodyweight exercises that you can do at home. More strength based than they are cardio. So next week we'll look at some more cardio based exercises that you can do at home. But in regards to how you can do those exercises, you, for example, could do 10 squats and then have a 30 seconds rest and do that 3 times through in total. And you could do that then for all 5 exercises. So 10 repetitions for 3 sets of each. That'll do you a good sort of 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how fast you can do your squats and your push-ups. But just really focus on your technique. Don't worry about doing it really quickly. If you struggle to fit exercise into your working day, then what you could do is to potentially set an alarm on your phone so that every half hour it goes off, reminds you to get up out of your desk. And what you can do then is do 10 of one of those movements. So maybe at 9:30 an alarm goes off and you get up and do 10 squats. At 10 o'clock it goes off and you get up and do 10 lunges, and so on and so forth throughout the day. And by the end of the day, you might have done a couple of hundred repetitions of different movements. So it's a really good way to incorporate into your day. Otherwise, if you want to make it into more of a workout style without breaks, you could say to yourself that you're going to do 10 of each exercise, and you do as many times through as you can within 20 minutes. That would be a good way of getting a full 20-minute workout in. But anyway, I hope you found that video useful, and I look forward to seeing you next week where we're going to look at some cardio-based workouts that you can do at home, and the sort of exercises you can do to get your heart rate up just at home without any equipment. So see you then.